And I've been one of those guys that said that Coach Belichick deserved a lot more of the credit than Tom Brady. But I was foolish in my assessment of this. It's becoming more and more apparent to me that Tom Brady was largely the reason why the Patriots won.
Bill Belichick has officially gotten to the breaking point of his time in New England. Reports are flying everywhere. Things like Bill Belichick is getting fired mid-season, Bill Belichick is gone after the season, Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft are not seeing eye to eye. To be honest with you, it's insane how we got to this point. Considering like 5 years ago, we were talking about how Brady was made by Bill Belichick and how Bill was the greatest coach in NFL history. And a side note, I still think that to this day. But now it's gotten to the point where it's one of the most interesting topics going on in the NFL that everyone's weighing in on. What is going to happen to Bill Belichick?
Belichick, I think, obviously becomes the most interesting topic of almost any NFL story right now. And what a decorated franchise and an accomplished owner and an historic coach all decide to do at the end of the season.
Things have been just about as bad as you possibly could imagine in New England. The last time the Patriots were 2-8 was when Bill Belichick started his time with the Patriots in 2000. And that was the only other time as well that the Patriots under Bill Belichick's leadership have finished last in the AFC East. End of the day, the stats are not kind to the Patriots. And honestly, we really don't even need to go into them because we know they're terrible. But I will tell you this. The eye test tells all, in my opinion. This is the worst Patriots team of my lifetime, and arguably the worst team in the league. I want to mention that I am in fact a Patriots fan, and yes, I'm only 30, so I don't remember all the bad times, but all good things must come to an end, right? A local Patriots writer named Tom Curran explains his thoughts, what happens with Bill Belichick's job going forward.
Mutual parting of the ways at the end of the season will be the most likely scenario.
Personally, this is what I would like to see. And the reason why this is getting very dicey outside the fact the team is terrible and they've been bad since Tom Brady left, Bill Belichick has been the guy for like a million years in football years. We're talking like he runs everything. And for him to be that successful at that level in the NFL is out of this world impressive. I mean, top to bottom, he's the GM, he's the coach, he scouts, he has a huge say where all the money is allocated, and the list just goes on. And the interesting thing is, the man can still coach. And if you were to ask basically any Patriots fan, majority of them will say, I would love to have Bill back as a coach, but not as a GM. And I would 100% co-sign on this. I want to reiterate, GM Bill Belichick has let Coach Bill Belichick down for years. I mean, there's a million things that he did. Missed on multiple signings, missed on draft picks, let Tom Brady walk. And the list goes on. And when you let the GOAT himself walk out that door, then go draft a quarterback in the first round being Mac Jones and completely miss on that player, this is exactly what happens. You feel heat and you get pressure and you potentially lose your job. This happens to every single other person outside of Bill Belichick. And I'll circle back on Mac in a second. But any other person in sports would be fired for all those mistakes, but Coach Belichick is just that good and helps cover all the mistakes of GM Belichick. But now, unfortunately, all those absolutely terrible draft picks have caught up to him. The team is terrible, poorly coached, seems to be losing the locker room. All signs point to me that he is done and will ultimately retire. Or will he?
I think it's over. I think that ultimately Bill Belichick will be gone. I think that he will be in either the nation's capital or he'll be coaching the Los Angeles Chargers because God knows they need a new head coach.
Several reports are coming out about how the Commanders or the Chargers would be very interested in Belichick's services for a couple of years, which would mean that they would let him pass the all-time wins record and help implement a winning culture in a place where losing is basically in their DNA. And there were actually some reports of him being traded to the Commanders, which would be ironic because Belichick started his career in New England via a trade by the Jets. But the next question is, what do you do with Mac Jones? Do you give him another chance, or do you go to Bailey Zappi? Here is Mac Jones following the Colts' loss.
Hard, right? It's a difficult situation, but at the end of the day, I really did want the team to win. I'll always be that person. I know that, we didn't win, so it's hard for everybody, but I have to play better to not even be in that situation.
A couple of things come to mind if you ask me. I feel pretty bad for Mac, because at the end of the day, he was set up to fail. But I will tell you this, if you're a professional athlete, most of the time, you were thrown in under terrible circumstances, and the great ones always come through, and the good ones are consistent, but the bad ones, you can almost immediately see they have no chance in the NFL, and that's exactly what Mac Jones looks like to me. Outside of him not being able to play the position at a high level, he has absolutely no confidence in himself, and it shows week in and week out. Do I think Mac Jones could be a starter in this league? And my answer to that question would be very unlikely. Unless he gets a perfect system under him and gets to a situation like Seattle for Geno Smith, but we'll need to see. I would stick with Mac until the end of the season and then make a decision in the offseason on what happens next. But now the million-dollar question. Do you fire Bill Belichick mid-season, or do you let it go out until the end of the year and mutually break up with him? Former player Teddy Bruschi and former Jets and Bills coach Rex Ryan give their thoughts on this very question.
When people talking about should Bill Belichick be fired mid-season, listen, we are not the Las Vegas Raiders, and that is not Josh McDaniels right there, okay? You let Bill finish this out, Mr. Kraft. Whatever draft pick you have at the end, have it then. But that discussion is asinine, okay? That's something we don't even partake.
And what you would never treat a legend like that, because that's who this is. Bill Belichick is an absolute legend and deserves a hell of a lot more than that kind of issue. He deserves all the respect. Kraft's a great owner because of Bill Belichick.
To me, this is exactly what should happen. You gotta put respect where respect is due. It's not like the Patriots are good and need a jolt in the locker room or something. Just let them tank, get a really high draft pick, and have Bill ride off into the sunset. And I've heard this saying a lot in the past couple of weeks. It's not what you have done for me before, what have you done for me lately? Normally, I am completely in on this line of thinking because things happen very fast in sports, and your opportunity to win is always razor thin. But for someone like Bill Belichick, the 8-time Super Bowl winning champion, in my mind, the greatest coach in the NFL history, he deserves the respect and dignity to finish the season, quote-unquote, mutually break up, and the Patriots can start a brand new thing next season. That's it, y'all. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, obviously subscribe, and most importantly, share this video to a family or a friend member, because odds are, if you like it, they will too. And until the next video, talk to you guys soon.